Hadith number 507, narrated Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما من مسلم يشاك شوكة في الدنيا يحتسبها إلا قص بها من خطاياه يوم القيامة. That's it. This is exactly what we mentioned earlier. When Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated a similar hadith, he was more specific in his narration. He said, the Messenger of Allah, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, said, if any Muslim is afflicted with anything, even a thorn prick in his skin, and anticipates the reward for it from Allah, except that some of his sins will be removed because of it on the day of resurrection. So the catch in this hadith is, and he anticipates the reward from Allah. Anticipates the reward from Allah. What happens when somebody finds a little kitten thirsty or hungry, and he even offers some of what he is eating? Why? I catch it on Snap. I put it on Instagram. I put it on my TikTok. It draws millions of viewership, hundreds of thousands of likes, and return, monetization. Is this fi sabilillah? Absolutely not. Guaranteed. But somebody who does the same, and his intent is, this is an animal, doesn't know how to talk, weak, thirsty, hungry, and I'm feeding any living being, the Almighty Allah will reward me for that. So I do it for this reason. You know what happened to the woman who was a prostitute? She didn't do any good in her life, but she had the opportunity to give water to a stray dog. She filled her leather shoe with water because there was no vessels, no cups, no glasses. So she went down the well and she filled her leather sock with water, and she gave water to the dog, to the stray dog. She said to herself, this dog is licking the sand looking for dough, extremely thirsty, as I was thirsty. Let me give it some water. So the Almighty Allah thanked her. How would the Almighty thank a human being, let alone thank a prostitute? Huh? Because she did this sincerely for Allah's sake. There was no one around to admire her. There was no one watching to say she's a good human being, she's pro animals, or she is supporting animals or pets, or she's a merciful person. She did what she did because she found a living being about to die. You know? So the Almighty Allah thanked her and forgave her sins. So what happens here is, it is entirely about the intention, which sometimes better than the act itself, better than the deed. I may intend to do something good, and I'm about to do it. Then unfortunately something happened. I'm not able to do it. After Jumu'ah, I saw somebody, I know this person is always in need, so I decided to give him 1,000 or 2. Put my hand in my pocket, couldn't find anything. What are my kids? No one is around. So I left without giving him anything. What did you intend to give? You're rewarded for your good intention. And if you still can make it up, it's even best. Got it? Same money, if you actually give it and you made it visible in order to be observed by people and say, MashaAllah, this Sheikh is very generous. Even though he's not a businessman, but he's generous. I wish he didn't even give it. The Almighty says, أَنَا أَغْنَى الشُّرَكَاءِ عَنِ الشِّرْكِ. Those who happen to associate partners to Allah in worship, whether entirely or partially or sometimes on and off. So he says, I'm the richest of all. If you think that you try to please somebody else with me, I'm not interested in anything, in any act that you've done. Take it all. You know what? let the other deity, let the other person, let the other guys give you what you expected from them. As for me, you will get nothing out of me. You will get zero reward. And that is the meaning of أنا أغنى الشركاء يعني الشرك. Then he added the Almighty. من أشرك بي شيئا تركته وشركه. Whoever associates with me anything, I would leave him alone. He and what he wanted to associate with me. Not looking at any of that. Got it? So brothers and sisters, a little bit of flu. Don't complain about Allah to people. Don't keep saying that, I don't know, every time I recover I get sick again. Why Allah is doing this to me? I know why Allah is doing this to me. I deserve that. I deserve that. And I know that Allah loves me, and that's why He wants to purify me from my sins, or some of my sins, before I meet Him on the day of judgment. وما يزال البلاء بالعبد حتى يلقى الله وَلَيْسَ عَلَيْهِ ذَنْبٌ. Allah will continue to test His servant so that when he meets the Almighty on the day of judgment, he will have zero sins. Why? He had mountains of sins blown away because of what? Sometimes not even because of seeking forgiveness or istighfar. He may be negligent of his duties in this regard, in this respect. But the Almighty Allah wanted to recruit him pure and sinless. DVT, cirrhosis, renal failure, benign and malignant tumor, COVID, Allah, fever. Allah will continue to test, so that when the person passes away, he will pass away with zero sins, which means basically you're not even breaking even. No, you come on the day of judgment, it's all about weighing the good deeds and the bad deeds. I don't have bad deeds, but you had mountains of good deeds evaporated, gone with the wind. They were remitted. Why? Because of my patience on those calamities. Good for you, isn't it? Also, many of us, when we make dua, when we supplicate, when we invoke, when we say, oh Allah, give me this, oh Allah, protect me, and we say, how come Allah is not answering my dua? Wallahi, He is. No, I don't see it, but He is. You don't have to see it. One of the ways that He will not answer it immediately, but He will save it for you to benefit you on the day that you need it most. So that when you rise up, when people are resurrected, and you're trembling in fear, because you know that you have plenty of sins. What are they? Well, remember all the dua, the prayers that you made in this life, and He will not answer innocently, because Allah was saving them for you to benefit you today. I say, oh my God, I wish I have supplicated more. I wish all my supplications which were answered back then were not even answered. I wish they were all saved to benefit me here. Wallahu ya'lamu wa antum la ta'lamun. And Allah knows and you know not. You got it? Yep. So the word يحتسبها in the hadith, which is a sound hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah, is another addition to the previous hadith of the mother of the believers, Aisha radiyallahu anha, and he explains what I mentioned earlier.